Vaidya Archana over here. I would like to welcome you all to the CAR Journal Club monthly meeting. Council of Ayurveda Research is an international non-profit organization based out of the USA and with a sister chapter in India. Ayurveda Anusandhan Abhiyan Foundation, AAAF. Our mission is to encourage, educate, and facilitate basic clinical and interdisciplinary research in Ayurveda. Our vision is to promote and establish Ayurveda as an evidence-based health science globally. You can learn more about us at our website, www.ayurvedaresearchusa.org. Please do consider joining us as a member who will bring you access to all our resources. And no non-profit can operate and succeed without volunteers. So consider joining us as a volunteer and we can place you in a variety of projects based on your skills and interests. Once again, our website is www.ayurvedaresearchusa.org. So today I'm going to introduce you with a speaker, Dr. Anjum. She's going to present today's presentation. Her name is Vaidya Anjum Ji Nadab, is eminent classically trained Ayurvedic practitioner, practicing and teaching Ayurveda for over 15 years. She's certified licensed massage therapist, certified Panchakarma technician, certified holistic nutrition, and registered yoga therapist. Founder of Anjum Ayurveda LLC. She is the recipient of Atre Ayurveda Excellence in Clinical Practice 2020 from APNA, which bears testimony to her unmatched reputation in the field of Ayurvedic fields. She is dedicated and passionate about Ayurveda and yoga, and constantly she is volunteering and spreading this wisdom to the world. So now Dr. Anjum will be presenting her presentation. I'll just carry on with her. So Dr. Anjum, here you go with your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Archana, for introducing me. Thank you very much. And thank you, Kar, for giving me an opportunity today to represent the literature review paper, which I'll be going to speak today. So let me start my presentation. It says host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you please give me an access?
You have access now, Dr. Anjum.
Okay. Yep. Good. So, 1 second. So, you are able to see the entire screen or the part of it? Are you able to see my screen?
Dr. Anjum, open the slideshow.
Yeah, I did. It says screen sharing. Okay, got it. 1 second. Is it visible?
Yes, Dr. Anjum, it's good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Kar, for giving me an opportunity to represent myself today here. So everyone, welcome to Journal Club meeting, Council of Ayurveda Research, myself, Vaidya Anjum. Before we begin, let me start with a disclaimer. This presentation is for academic purpose to understand methods for critically appraising a scientific manuscript. It by no means intend to harm or criticize the investigator or any other personnel connected to the manuscript or clinical study. The views expressed here are with sole purpose to be academic. The presenter declares no conflict of interest. So the topic I have selected today is the study title, Withania somnifera, Dual Opportunity for Clinical Repurposing in COVID-19 Management. This article is published on 03 May 2021, that is 3rd May 2021. It's a recent publication. This article has more views than 96% of people have viewed this article. And this article has more downloaded than 66% of it. The article is supported by the Ayush Ministry of Excellence. This article has been viewed like 15,894 times till today. This article is published both in PubMed and Frontier Pharmacology. The authors for this publication are Akash Sangam, Kirit Nimagokar, Swapnil Bose, Preeti Chavan Gautam, Santosh Dikshit, Girish Tillu, and Bhushan Patwardhan is a correspondence. This is edited and reviewed by the Ayush Center of Excellence, Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, Interdisciplinary School of Health Science, Savitri Bai Phule, Pune University, Pune, India, and Division of Biochemistry, Department of Chemistry, Fergusson College, Pune, India, and Prashanti Cancer Care Mission, Pune, India. This is edited by Jia Bo Wang, 5th Medical Center in China, and it is reviewed by Shailendra S. Gaurav, Goa College of Pharmacy, and University of Naples in Italy. So today in this article, we are going to discuss about the publication authors, which I have already done, and then the tools used for here for collecting this data, and introduction about pathophysiology of COVID-19. There we will look the signs and symptoms mentioned by the authors and the management protocol which has been carried out, and how ashwagandha is going to help, and ashwagandha's importance and its benefits. And also we are going to learn a lot of chemical compositions the ashwagandha has, and how the author has tried to map up the pathophysiology of COVID-19 with the ashwagandha's chemical composition, keeping in mind how the author has tried to map it and want to say that this is a wonderful drug and can be used as an adjuvant in the modern science. You can use ashwagandha. The author is proposing to use ashwagandha as an adjuvant. And we are also going to see the role of Withania somnifera at various stages of COVID-19. So here the author has explained very well the different stages like mild, moderate, and severe, how the Withania somnifera is going to help, and what are the clinical symptoms, which we will study one by one. And what happens when you are when you get coronavirus, COVID-19, how the infection happens, and then how the inflammation is going on, and cytokine storm. We are going to see all those things. And then how the inflammation with so much hyperinflammation in the COVID-19 patients, how it induces organ failure, and each organ has been explained one by one. And we are also going to see how Withania somnifera, ashwagandha, is going to help in each of these particular organs. So the author has beautifully mapped the symptoms of COVID-19, and he has come up with the mapping saying how this ashwagandha, with what chemical composition it has, and how it's going to help. We are going to see all of that. And possible role of Withania somnifera as a therapeutic adjuvant and a vaccine adjuvant, which the author is proposing. And we will also discuss about the shortcomings, what we have, and the conclusion. So why did I choose this article? As we all know that COVID-19 is a pandemic, and it's been going on from almost 2 years, and we are still in the state of pandemic. And every day the protocols are changing, and one day they say not to wear mask, one day they say wear mask, one day they are saying the vaccine is completely protecting, one day they are saying that maybe you need a third dose of vaccine. So the protocol managements are keep changing. So there is like no answers, and now I feel that there is a conventional medicine, there is a gap, and it has to be bridged by the traditional system of science. So I think that Ayurveda can bridge that gap and can fulfill the need what it requires. So this is also an need of our topic to discuss, because entire world is suffering with corona, and everybody has got vaccinated, but still we are wearing masks, we have to maintain social distancing, and all those things keeping in mind. So this is a very important topic. And considering the chemical profile and pharmacological activities of Withania somnifera, ashwagandha I consider I feel that it is highly beneficial, not only in the COVID, before COVID, pre-COVID, and in the active phase of COVID, and also in the post-COVID. So it has got in every stages, this ashwagandha is helping in every moment. And also the authors, before publishing this article, they have gone through 220 research published articles, and then they have done a lot of research work, and then they have published this paper. So the data which we have collected in this research paper, all by using the research which have been conducted in the in silico, in vitro, or in vivo researches, whatever have been carried out. So from there, all the data has been collected, and the clinical studies, if they have been carried out on Withania somnifera, on ashwagandha in any way, that also have been collected, and also data has been collected from the studies on Withania somnifera, which is focused on the viral infections like HIV, HSV, H1N1 influenza, etc. And also data has been collected from the non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, cancer, etc. And the tool the author has used here, by using the keywords such as ashwagandha, Ayurveda, Rasayana, immunomodulation, inflammation, cytokine, adjuvant, and organ protection. All these tools, keywords have been used to generate, to get the research paper, to search the paper. These keywords have been used. So, so the authors first has started with the pathophysiology of COVID-19. So the author is saying that coronavirus, as we all know, it's a contagious disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2. This is a rapidly spreading disease and considered as one of the cause of mortality globally. So the current evidence suggests that most individuals are either symptomatic or asymptomatic, or they might be having a mild symptoms, or patient may progress to a severity, and he may develop a pneumonia or acute respiratory distress syndrome, and may required hospitalization, and also death have happened. So, so the author has tried to tell here in that how this virus enter into our body and what it does. So the SARS-CoV-2 virus uses angiotensin converting enzyme ACE2 receptor for cell entry and transmembrane serine protease 2 for spike protein priming. These two words you are going to see frequently while going through the presentation. Upon entry, the single-strand RNA is released, which then takes off cellular ribosal machinery to synthesize the protein and enzyme essential for viral replications. The infected cells then recruit immune viral clearance, which release cytokine that induce hyperinflammation, leading to organ damage. And author has also explaining the signs and symptoms of COVID, that is fever, cough, breathlessness, fatigue, pneumonia, hematological abnormalities, and also collapse, immune balance, hyperinflammation, cytokine storm, and leads to multi-organ failures. And the patients with comorbidities such as diabetes, hypertension, cancer, tuberculosis, they are having an increased risk of complications. And author has also explained about how the management protocols has been carried out in modern conventional medicine, that we are using antivirals, which is popularly like remdesivir is used, and anti-malarial drugs like chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine is being used. Antibiotics such as azithromycin in few cases, immunomodulator like tocilizumab, and also we know that approach to plasma therapy is being conducted. And as we all know that the accelerated vaccine development was undergone, and it received the license for the emergency use in pandemic. However, the adverse effect of these drugs remain concern. Now the author has also explaining about the chemical composition of ashwagandha. He's mentioned that the vithanol, the ashwagandha has many phytochemicals, of which vithanolides is the main phytochemicals. And out of that, 628 steroidal lactate retinoids, which is a majority includes vithaferin A, vithanolide A, B, and D, vithanoside 4 and 5, vithanosomniferin A, vithanonan, cetinoside 9 and 10, 12-deoxy stramnolide. These are all the chemical compositions which are present in ashwagandha. And polyphenols, which are like catechin, naringenin, syringic acid, and fumaric acid are also found significant quantities in Withania somnifera extract. So here, this gives an thing that this is an ashwagandha is considered a versatile drug with such a phytochemical components, which is act as a strong therapeutic agent. The author has now tried to map this background of advanced pathophysiology insight of COVID-19, and based on that, the adjuvant to current pharmacotherapeutic underlying and integrative approach in COVID-19, prophylaxis and clinical management of India. So the author has tried to map up, and he is trying to say that the Withania somnifera is the prophylaxis and clinical management of COVID-19. This is the best drug. As we all know, the role of ashwagandha, that it is extensively prescribed botanicals in Ayurvedic practice for its multimodal effect. So it has a diverse pharmacological activities, and it has have reported its safety for use in humans. So a lot of research has been carried out on ashwagandha, and all that says that it is very safe to use ashwagandha. So ashwagandha is an immunomodulator, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. It's an adaptogenic agent. It also is very much beneficial in anti-stress, anti-hypertensive, anti-diabetic, and also helps in protecting our organ. So the next, the author has tried to tell how this viral enter and what it does. And in the same stages, our author has tried to say how Withania somnifera helps. So when this COVID virus, when SARS-CoV-2, when it enters in our body, it preferentially attacks pneumocytes, and that will bind with the viral spike protein to cellular ACE2 receptor, which is followed by viral endocytosis. So in each one of these, the author has mentioned that when it attacks the pneumocyte, vithanon, the component in Ayurveda, component in ashwagandha, disrupt the host virus cells interaction, and then it destabilizes the complex of ACE2 receptors binding domain spike of protein. And vithaferin A and vithanols are predicted to block main protease and transmembrane protease enzyme, which in turn interfere with the virus entry and replication. So the antiviral properties of Withania somnifera may interfere with viral entry and subsequent life cycle. The metabolites of Withania somnifera were explored for their antiviral properties against SARS-CoV-2 protein. And this has also been supported by a lot of studies which is carried out in vitro. And it revealed that vithanon downregulate mRNA, messenger RNA, and step by step the author has tried to map it with the symptoms and how the ashwagandha herb is going to help. In the table, author has also explained very well each stages of COVID-19. So the author has said in the stage of COVID-19, when the viral entry and replication take place, if you give the Withania somnifera at that moment, prevention of viral entry and replication happens. This inhibition of SARS-CoV-2 protein, destability of just enlarge. Destabilization of ligand receptor complex, nitric oxide induced viral inhibition, and reduction of viral load in organs. And when there is an immune imbalance, the role of Withania somnifera is to stabilization of immune homeostasis, where the proliferation of B and T cells, harmonization of Th1 and Th2 response, and there is an improvement in phagocyte and lysomal activity of immune cells, and there is a modulation of immune pathway in silico. When there is a cytokine storm happening, when you introduce Withania somnifera, mitigation of cytokine storm take place. A decrease in serum level of IL-6 and IB, interleukin-6 and interleukin beta, suppression of cellular expression of cytokines, overall cytokine modulation and inhibition of GM-CSF in silico. Next stage of COVID is there is the inflammation after the storm, hyperinflammation. During this stage, the Withania somnifera elevates the hyperinflammation by interfering with inflammatory pathways, inhibition of inflammations, induction of macrophage repolarization, and suppression of pro-inflammatory cytokines. When there is a vascular permeability, the ashwagandha helps in maintaining of vascular integrity by prevention of apoptosis of endothelial cells, inhibition of inhibited HMGB1 mediated barrier disruption, inhibition of histamines, inhibition of VEGF vascular permeability inducing factor. During the inflammation-induced pyrexia, antipyretic effect is shown by the Withania somnifera by inhibition of COX-2 enzyme, transcriptional reduction of COX-2 protein, and suppression of prostaglandin. In multi-organ failure, Withania somnifera helps in organ protection against inflammation, neurorenal and cardio protection, prevention of pulmonary fibrosis and liver injury, restoration of antioxidant property of gastrointestinal system, and it helps in normalizing sex hormones in gonads. So the author has used a molecular docking tool and stimulation study, and he has also revealed the high binding affinity with the virus like H1N1 influenza virus, Herpes simplex virus, which is carried out in the chicks, infectious bursal disease, IBD, the research carried out in chicks, HIV patients in ex vivo research, SARS-CoV-2 infection. Experimental and clinical data are limited. This highlights that there is a need for the investigation of Withania somnifera metabolite as an antiviral agent in COVID-19, with systemic experiment is required. But there are a lot of research has been carried out, and with respect to the viral, the author is proposing that Withania somnifera is a very good antiviral agent. Immune homeostasis and COVID-19. In general, when you get infection, agent triggers a pathological immune response by several types of immune cells along with secreted biomolecules. Then there is an immediate immune response to infection, which includes antigen recognition, and then there is phagocytosis happens. Then phagocytosis, it is followed by delayed response of inflammation in general. But in case of SARS-CoV-2 infection, there is a sudden elevation of the immune response which brings the biological architecture at a higher risk due to hypersecretion of inflammatory molecules. So hypersecretion of inflammatory molecule leading to immune imbalance. So there is a clinical study which has author has mentioned that there is a clinical study which is carried out on PBMCs of patients with COVID-19, that is peripheral blood mononuclear cells patients during the COVID-19. These patients, an aqueous and hydraulic extract of Withania somnifera and withanoid has promoted proliferation of B and T cells along with Th1 response in healthy, chronically stressed, immunocompromised mice. The immunomodulatory potential of Withania somnifera extract in viral disease was also tested in chicks, healthy mice, diseased mice in fish, E. coli infected guinea pigs. So based on all this clinical study, it has been revealed that immune activating effect of Withania somnifera root extracted and administered with Anupana as a whole meal as a vehicle was indicated by a significant activation of T cells and NK cells after 4 days of twice daily consumption. So we all know that there is a cytokine storm happens in the corona virus. So the SARS-CoV-2 triggers the excessive generation of the inflammation cytokines known as cytokine storm. These cytokines will mediate the crosstalk between immune cells and the infected cells to clear the infectious agent. So this background table 1, this is showing the summary of the role of Withania somnifera, which reduces the inflammatory cytokines. So here the author has made a table and he has introduced the study model that suppression of inflammatory cytokines by withanoids and Withania somnifera. So here Withania A, which helps in macrophages. So if you see this table, how the Withania somnifera, all the chemical compositions like root powder, how it is used in the mice, healthy mice, guinea pig, E. coli, everything in detail has been documented here in this table. So with this table, it is actually we are getting an implied that cytokine storm in patient with COVID-19 with special reference to IL and 1B and IL-6, it is very much beneficial. Interleukin-6 and interleukin beta. So we know that there is increased alteration in cytokine will lead to inflammatory pathways. These inflammatory pathways are mediated through several factors like cytokines, receptor protein, and inflammatory inflammations. Withania somnifera has considered as anti-inflammatory potential than all other natural products, accompanied with negligible toxicity. So as we know that when they enter and there is a cytokine storm and there is a hyperinflammation, and that makes the highlight of COVID-19 as a chronic disease alteration in cytokine as an inflammatory pathway. The author has mentioned that Withania somnifera, the collected mechanism suggests that Withania somnifera and withanolides restrict inflammatory response through regulating cytokine expression. It helps in modulating inflammatory receptor protein and inhibits the NF-kB pathway. This encouraged the investigation of Withania somnifera in COVID-19 hyperinflammation. So as a patient with COVID-19, they have showed the immune cells, inflammatory cytokines, and vasoactive molecules increase the gap between the endothelial cells that will leads to vascular leakage, and that causes infiltration of inflammatory cells. This patient with COVID-19 have been showed elevated level of vascular endothelial growth factor and a vascular permeability inducing factor. So this is the author has told that in this leakage also, the Withania somnifera studies supports the protective and preventive effect in vascular permeability induced alveolar consolidation. And author is suggesting Withania somnifera may help reduce breathlessness in patient with COVID-19. Therefore, a systemic clinical studies are required to validate this effect of Withania somnifera. So the systemic inflammation will cause the organ failure consecutively. And here, the inflammatory mediators which are released during the immune cells circulate via blood and that induce inflammation and then causes several organs to lead damage. So one by one, the author has told the organs, how it is affecting and what are its symptoms and which part of Withania somnifera is going to help and what it does. So the heart, if you see, there will be cardiomyopathy and myocarditis with the patient with COVID-19. If the alcoholic extract of Withania somnifera leaf and root powder has shown strong inhibition of pro-inflammatory cytokine. In liver, there is a liver damage, which was evident by abnormal range of liver enzymes and other markers. Withania somnifera root methanolic extract found to restore the marker enzyme level. With respect to lung, pulmonary inflammation, anosmia, respiratory distress, endothelitis result in pulmonary hypertension. And during this, Withania somnifera root powder attenuated endothelitis. Withaferin A from VS has shown protective effect against pulmonary fibrosis and lung damage. In GI tract, you will find nausea, diarrhea, abdominal pain, anorexia, and vomiting. If Withania somnifera root aqueous extract expressed given, then anti-diarrheal activity and maintained gastritic mobility in the rat model was seen. In kidney, proteinuria and increased level of serum creatine and urea nitrogen and renal dysfunction is seen in COVID-19 patients. So Withania somnifera root powder was found to show a nephroprotective effect by stabilizing urea nitrogen and creatine level and restores antioxidant enzyme expression. In the muscle, rhabdomyolysis, myalgia, and muscle weakness are the symptoms. Withania somnifera aqueous extract found an increase in the overall muscle strength, and the root extract also found to reduce elevated levels of serum urea and creatinine in rats. So all these tests has been carried out in the animals, which the author is explaining how it is helping. And with respect to pancreas, acute pancreatitis, increased level of pancreatic enzyme and inducing lipase and amylase. Withaferin A, aqueous extract of withaferin root, showed protective effect against acute pancreatitis. So in the conventional treatment, the therapeutic management in COVID-19, hydrochloroquine, chloroquine, azithromycin, and emergency antiviral drug, which is remdesivir, all this has been given. But the rationale behind using these drugs is empirical, and the clinical data for use in COVID-19 are inconclusive. However, using these drugs is premature and might expose patients to rare but serious harms. So the the protocol which they are following, if the risk factor associated with them, like if you use hydrochloroquine and chloroquine, the cardiac arrhythmias are seen associated with hepatic failure leading to death. The azithromycin was found to worsen this condition by increasing the risk of cardiovascular mortality. Then there is the angina and heart failure. Remdesivir triggering cardiopulmonary failure and respiratory failure, or ARD, acute respiratory distress syndrome, has been seen with the patients given remdesivir as a drug. And an approach to convalescent plasma therapy has shown a promising result in COVID-19 management. So author is suggesting here that a Withania somnifera may show some benefit to decrease adverse effect of drugs and adds up antibody response in COVID-19 management. So Withania somnifera can be a promising candidate to be considered as a therapeutic adjuvant in COVID-19 management. Yeah, I think that's what I read it. So author is also proposing that in COVID-19 next phase of vaccine development, author is proposing to use Withania somnifera as an adjuvant. So Withania somnifera having a proven attribute can be an such as affordability, efficacy, and safety. This keeping these things in mind, we can think of putting using Withania somnifera as an adjuvant for the vaccine. The authors are also previously proposed a combination of vaccines and herbal immunostimulant as an innovative approach to increase the vaccine efficacy also. And also the author have explained the probable role of Withania somnifera in the clinical management of COVID-19. So the author has explained the mild, moderate, and severe symptoms. Sorry about that. And author has explained the symptoms and also explained how the Withania somnifera is going to help in each section. So in the mild symptoms, you will see that there is malaise, fever, and dry cough is considered. And patient will have antipyretic and antiviral drugs are given in this stage. And the antiviral properties of Withania somnifera mentioned in this review seems promising and needs to be again evaluated with the investigations. In the moderate COVID symptoms, there is pulmonary involvement with or without hypoxia, pulmonary inflammation, alveolar consolidation, and vascular permeability. During this stage, anti-inflammatory therapy such as prednisones are given. And here, Withania somnifera is well known for its anti-inflammatory action in several inflammatory diseases, and we can consider Withania somnifera as an anti-inflammatory drug of choice here. And in the severe case of Withania somnifera, the patient is suffering from systemic hyperinflammation caused by immune cell-induced cytokine storm. The systemic inflammation may lead to multi-organ failure. And here in this stage, an immunomodulatory intervention is recommended for physiological management of the severe condition. An anti-inflammatory and organ protective effect of Withania somnifera, which has been studied, is recommended here to be used in this severe stage of COVID-19. Not only during the mild, moderate, and severe stages of corona, the Withania somnifera is going to help. Even in the post-COVID complications, we have been seeing a lot of them. They have muscle pain, fatigue, weakness, and organ dysfunction, which have been seen. This also, the Withania somnifera is going to help in muscle strengthening and organ protective action of Withania somnifera is going to help in post-COVID complications also. So the conclusion with this paper, it is that this review proposes that Withania somnifera as a potential therapeutic adjuvant for various stages of COVID-19 management. Withania somnifera may also have beneficial effect on comorbidities associated with the COVID-19. The experimental literature indicates that Withania somnifera has the potential for maintaining immune homeostasis, regulating inflammation, suppressing pro-inflammatory cytokines, organ protection like nervous system, heart, lung, liver, and kidneys, and anti-stress and anti-hypertensive and anti-diabetic activities is also beneficial. The shortcoming of this paper is definitely we do not know the drug interaction information that we are not be knowing now. So we need to evaluate the pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamic profiles of each. And Withania somnifera, to realize the potential of Withania somnifera in COVID-19, we need to do the validation in silico observation, followed by the clinical studies. Then experimental and clinical data are limited. This highlights the need for the investigation of Withania somnifera metabolite as an antiviral agent in COVID-19, with systemic experiment is needed. And also the activity of botanical depends upon the number of variables. As we know that the geographical variation of species, cultivation and collection method, extraction method, administration, the route, the dose and the duration, all this has come in picture. So we have to do a lot of research to know which one will help the thing, which one will help more accurately. So with all this thing, I will strongly feel there are a lot of shortcomings in the paper, but it's also a very interesting paper, I felt. And this is a literature narrative paper, by the way. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anjum. It was very well presented. And now I would like to ask my participants what they feel about this presentation, what they think there should have been, or what are the corrections, or what all shortcomings are there in this paper.
So one thing is coming to my mind when in Ayurveda, any of the herbs are recommended. In Ayurveda, we do not see the use of active principle or one component. It is always the whole part of the plant. And here, one thing that I could not understand is using ashwagandha or one of the active principle as adjunct with the vaccine itself. One of the studies is coming to my mind, like Sarpagandha, Rauwolfia serpentina. Sarpagandha ganvati is given in clinical presentation similar to hypertension, and it always gave result. And maybe a decade or 2 decades back, I don't exactly remember, but similar kind of condition has there that they use the active principle of Sarpagandha. Serpentine or something, I don't exactly remember the name of the
serpentine, I guess.
Serpentine was used, and later it was withdrawn from the market, and because it has started giving side effects. So the only thing about giving this example was that we have come across similar kind of condition where we have tried to use Ayurvedic herbs based on active principle. So from such learned authors, I see Girish Tillu, Bhushan Patwardhan and all, this kind of thing is, I would say, is a shortcoming, or there is something that I do not understand. We have Dr. Rao who might throw some light on this aspect.
Well, so Dr. Baranwal, as you correctly mentioned, is this article is good in terms of understanding what has been done so far with regard to ashwagandha and COVID-19. Okay. But at the same time, I think as researchers or as teachers, we have to be very careful in how we interpret the results. Because number one, as both the speaker, Dr. Anjum, and as you mentioned, there's a lot of issues with this paper. And the one of the many issues is that throughout the text, even though they keep talking about the principle, that is either the components, and I have worked with all those components. I have worked with ethanoferrin, I have worked with ethanolicides. These are all individual compounds that you isolate. Okay, what you get from those, the results from those are not necessarily recapitulating the entire herb, number one. Okay, number two, those active principles that you give, these are either phytochemicals, what we call phytochemicals, or chlorophenols, and you give them at a very high dosage, okay, in order to see any effect. But that's the kind of dosage, when it comes to herbs, the whole herb, we never reach that kind of a dosage. Okay, that's number two. Number three, most of the studies, and Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, I mean, I have nothing against him, but since the time that COVID-19 has hit us, he has come out with, I would say, hundreds of articles. Everything is all review articles. He's reviewing other people's work. And most of them are all molecular docking studies. Molecular docking studies doesn't give any kind of significance, because it's purely what we call in silico. That is, what you do is you take the chemical, so you already know the structure of ethanoferrin, okay? And then you have the structure of the coat protein of the virus, okay? And then there are bioinformatic programs that you use, we have used in our labs as well. And then you try to see where exactly the interaction happens between which ligands of the molecules, okay? And then based on that, you then come out with a theoretical probability of where the interaction can occur and what is the likelihood of the bonding, how strong is a bond, okay? But these have to be followed by actual work in the lab. And a lot of the bioinformatics studies, they don't get followed up in the lab-based studies. So if you go back to this review article, most of the articles that he has talked about, that he has reviewed, are all bioinformatics in silico docking method analysis. Okay, so how exactly does that work in a test tube or an animal model is very difficult to predict. That's number three. Number four, let's also reflect on the fact that this is not any kind of, he's not doing any work in the lab. He's just borrowed all the work from other people. He's just trying to put everything together. Okay, most of it is not been done, not been followed through. We don't have, actually, I have not come across any clinical case studies or any kind of blinded studies using the whole herb, as you, Dr. Vandana, mentioned, the whole herb on humans for COVID-19. Okay, if those studies come out very well, then of course, then it actually will sort of supplement all the things that that Dr. Anjum has mentioned in this work. But you have to do it very carefully. You have to call in. It has to be a randomized blinded study, and then you give one group, you give ashwagandha, the other group you give something else, and then you see how long it takes for them to recover. I mean, it's a painstaking work. Can be done. It's not something that is not doable. It is doable, but it requires patience, it requires time, and it requires a proper clinical trial. Until then, I think we have to get our information from these kind of reviews. But as Dr. Anjum correctly mentioned, we have to take it with a grain of salt. We cannot just use this information and say, okay, we are going to treat somebody with ashwagandha. And as you rightly mentioned, as an adjuvant, I'm always little careful about adjuvants, because we do not know what the interaction is with the vaccine. And then when you use an adjuvant, do you use the entire herb or do you use components? And if you use components, which components do you use? Because remember one thing, hundreds of chemicals have been isolated from ashwagandha, and all of them have shown to have some kind of a protective effect. Okay, the question is, do we just take one of them, and then which one do you have to take? Do you just pick and choose? And what if it doesn't work in some settings? So yeah, I mean, it is no doubt interesting, but I think we have to be very careful in how we interpret these studies.
Thank you, Dr. Rao, and thank you, Dr. Vandana, for your critical analysis. I also have some view regarding this study that, yes, because ashwagandha has always been, published, or it has always been like used for the treatment in anti-stress as an adaptogen. Neither of the study, or I think in COVID patient, it has not been still, we have done the clinical trials where ashwagandha is working as an anti-inflammatory agent. So they haven't been done on human beings, like on right and mice, and they have been done. So I think like proper studies and proper researches and trials should be done, as Dr. Rao mentioned. Then only we can, say that, okay, ashwagandha is acting as an anti-inflammatory agent.
Yes, Dr. Rao has summarized it very well.
Yes,
I
yes.
have to say that, because whenever we are using Ayurvedic herbs, we definitely have to keep in mind its Ayurvedic properties. Ashwagandha have to be used very carefully where pitta vitiation is there, or high pitta individuals. And when I am not sure, while treating a disease, do we get a chance to incorporate, when we are using modern parameters, that are we going to be selective about the individual type where we are going to administer this, or how we are going to do this? And that falls into more deeper skepticism when it is done as an active principle component. So yes, it definitely is a study which collects together various research, and it definitely is a good collection, and for all of us to see what is there, and to understand, but not to use in clinical practice.
Yes, I strongly agree with this. And I also felt, as I mentioned, everything, like there are a lot of shortcomings in this.
But a good choice of paper and excellent presentation, Dr. Anjum.
Yes, it was well
Very well
presented.
presented.
Thank you. So this is my first time presenting the narrative paper, and so I didn't exactly know, but then I like sat for the
No, the way you correlated and the way you like briefly summarized everything, it was done really well.
And thanks to Dr. Meenakshi, she told take the challenge, and I accepted it. And I want to, she's not here today, but I will text her. So that's nice to encourage us to take it,
So I would like to thank everyone, and thank you so much for attending our meeting. Please watch and subscribe to our video channel to view earlier Journal Club meetings and other presentations as well. Please like, comment, and share the videos. Once again, I invite you to become a member and also fill out our volunteer form. You can now also subscribe to our IU Update newsletter to stay tuned to our projects and events. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at ayurvedaresearchusa@gmail.com. Thanks again. Hope to see you at the next Journal Club meeting. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Ram. Thank you, Dr. Vandana.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
We need